So hello everyone. So let's end up our SQL topic with chapter 8, which is all about advanced SQL features. Now we are quite familiar with most of the syntaxes and the concepts of SQL. So it's just additional chapter which gives you additional information related to some of the features of SQL. So here you'll get introduced how one can dictionary tables and views. So what is dictionary tables and views? We'll check here. Of course, some additional options of Proc SQL, which you people are familiar with, and interface of macros in SQL. This topic is just going to be a revision of your how one can create macros in SQL. All right. So let's move with the first topic, dictionary tables and views. So use dictionary tables and views to obtain information about SAS files. Now let's understand the concept what is dictionary tables. The word dictionary itself, what do you have the understanding? Yes, what do you mean by dictionary?
Contains all the information.
Yes, absolutely. So when we say dictionary tables, it's like whenever you start your session, until or you close your session, throughout the session, whatever the task we have done in the SAS memory is stored as a dictionary. So either the task you might have stored about libname, or you might have created 3 4 libraries with various paths. So that is one of your information been registered into the memory. So that is called as a metadata. Okay. So in case if you want to know at the end of the session what were or in a specific library there are how many tables, or throughout the libraries which you have created in the session, maybe 4 libraries, 5 libraries, so within those libraries you need to search for a specific table. So you are not going to manually look into every library, because the libraries with tables and live scenario is going to be huge with various tables. So there would be more than 50 tables, more than 60 tables. So it's not going to be feasible for us to sit and view each and library manually. So that is where we'll be writing programs to find out the table in a specific library. Again, that information is registered in the memory, and the area of that memory is called as metadata. So actually dictionary tables is nothing but the information been registered in the memory as metadata. So we'll query that metadata, and the information which is always saved is in the form of views. Okay, is in the form of views. So what is a view? You already know it. So this view is most of the time when we are actually going to write a program with base SAS concepts like proc print or proc means. In that case, we are going to query the sessions metadata by writing view information. So what is that? We'll see later. But at this point, just understand the sessions information throughout the session. You have deleted any table, you have created any table, you have added any column into a table. If you want to search a specific column throughout the library, in which table that specific column comes. Okay, so that all information is registered, and that area is termed as metadata. And of course, the information which is saved is termed as dictionary tables. Okay, so that is what we are going to learn here. So, what is it? A business scenario. You have inherited many different data tables and want to become familiar with their contents. So that's just the same thing what we have discussed. So we have created, or we do have various tables, and we want to be familiar with the table contents irrespective of any specific libraries. Okay, so we need to find out it. So in that case, manually open every library, check into the table is not going to be feasible. Hence, we are going to use this dictionary tables. So the information of sessions metadata is always saved as view. All right. So it's telling dictionary tables are read only metadata views that contains session metadata such as information about libraries, datasets, and external file in use or available in current session. So whatever the information related table, rows, columns, okay, even if you have any external table read, either it's a raw file or an Excel sheet or whatever, even that information is registered into metadata, and you are going to query the information of metadata, and that is termed, or that is the information which is registered as a form of view, and that view is termed as dictionary tables. Okay, so dictionary tables are created at the time when you start your SAS session, that is SAS session initialization, updated automatically throughout the session by SAS, and we have the only read only access. Okay, so you can query dictionary tables with Proc SQL as well. So we'll write the SQL procedure to query these dictionary tables. It's actually a view which has been saved or registered into the metadata. I hope everyone is understanding what we have defined here now about dictionary tables.
Yes, Ashwin.
Yes, everyone?
So we can
Okay,
get any kind of row, any kind of column, any kind of table using this.
yes, throughout the session. Okay, so let's see how one can do it. So for this topic, we'll be limited to know what are the tables, columns, and members. Okay, so what is the member and all, we'll see it in detail. So what it's telling, there can be more than 30 dictionary tables. We will focus on using only this. So when we are writing dictionary dot tables, so this is a two-level way of referring it. So it is the detailed information about tables. If you want to query columns, you are going to query as dictionary dot columns. It is detailed information about all columns in all tables, all tables. Okay, dictionary dot members, it's general information about the libraries. Fine. So members is a term for library. Columns is of course for all columns which are available in all tables. And dictionary tables means what are the tables we have throughout our session. Now let's explore. So this is one of the statement you are writing. Describe table dictionary dot table. So the information you write here is describe table. Okay. Though it's a table, but you know the syntax that when you want to describe a specific table or a data set, we use the keyword table. So it is dictionary dot tables. So what it will give you, it will tell you the lib name, that it is actually telling you the contents that throughout the session, this is how the libname information is saved. So it is a libname which are character values, or it has 8 bytes character column names or character names. What would be its label? Member. So it is again label which is a mem name. Okay, then it's telling when it was created, modified, and obs means number of observations. OBSLN is the observation length, number of variables, so it will give you the information of variable. So when you write dictionary dot tables, it's telling you that if you want to find out a detailed contents of a specific dictionary about how many columns, how many rows, or what are the column length. So this is how the keywords are. Okay. So in case if we go back here and I write a program with Proc SQL, describe table dictionary dot tables. So see, DBMS member character. Okay, what does it mean? DBMS, that means database management system. Any table we have accessed. Mem label, it is telling you what is your dataset label. Okay, type mem, that is it's telling what is the dataset type. Create date, modified date, number of observation or observations length. Okay, And var means number of variables. Fine. So these are number of pages, what is there for that particular data, deleted observations. Okay. So n LOBS means number of logical observations, maximum variables. Okay. So it's the longest variable name, maximum label, longest label. So this is all where it is available, where you can dictionary. So how to use it, we'll see. But at this point, if you want to know what are the keywords and how we are going to use it later on, this is how you can write that dictionary, describe dictionary table. So these are all key words which will be using it for dictionary. All right. So you can use a describe statement to explore the structure of key tables or dictionary tables. So querying dictionary information. Now look at here. What are you querying? The table in your Orion library. So you want to know what are the tables in Orion library. So you write SQL select mem name, that is table name. Within that table, you want to know how many observations, how many variables, okay, and when it was created. So dictionary dot tables. So from the metadata where your lib name is Orion. So the name of the library in the sessions metadata is always registered in uppercase letters. You cannot use small case like or prop case. It should be uppercase only. That's what it's telling. Okay. So if I open or if I write the same thing in my current program, I write Proc SQL select. So I want to select what? I want to know what are the tables in my current library. So I'm going to select is main name, that is my table name. Okay. I want to know number of observations. I want to know number of variables. Correct. So this is what it is. And when are the tables created? So create date. Correct. So that is how it is. From sessions metadata, which is from dictionary dot tables, and within this sessions metadata I have to work only with my library, or I write lib name. Okay, see, lib name is equal to the library which I'm going to work is Orion. Okay, so I may write library in Orion, comma SAS help, which is already predefined permanent library. Fine, let's work out. There's comma which I have missed here. Name. Done. So see, these are the tables which are available in our Orion library. Fine. And then from here, it's all about SAS help library. How do I know it's SAS help library? Because still here we have Orion information, and from here we have SAS help. Because if you check your libraries of SAS help, it is starting with a comp. So if you check this, see, airline, appliance, baseball, buy, weight, cars. So see, this all is there, cars. So because we have selected only NOBS, now this is a default label which is coming, number of variables and the date of creation. So see what it's telling, total number of observations and total number of columns. Total number of observations, total number of columns. Now, because this is a view, view will not tell you how many observations, but view is an instructions on table, but it's telling me what are the tables. So because it was created on 27th May, it's giving me this date and time. Correct? So same thing it is telling. Now again here, Tom Zoo is actually a view. So there is no observations for view, but it's an instructions on table. So it has the instructions about how many columns. So there are 4 columns when it was created at what time. Correct. So this is all about your informations throughout these 2 libraries that I have the number of tables and how the table, each table has how many rows, how many observations, and when it was created. Understood, everyone? So do I need to explore it by going in every library and checking it in detail? No need, because this is going to be a simple scenario where you're looking out for this information programmatically without wasting your time checking it manually for each library. Are you all with me, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it's making your task more simple, right? Okay. So this is how it's giving you the output. Now it's telling if you want to query a specific table, how you'll work out. So you write a query telling you want the name and the type of the column and the length. From your writing, you want to query columns from which library Orion and what is the table employee address. So in case if you want to say in a specific table, so you are going to write it. Mem name means table name is employee address. Again in sessions metadata, the table name is also registered always in uppercase. So no need of writing prop case, it will give you an error. You have to give it in this way. Which library? Orion. What you want to query the column information. For that column, you are selecting the name of the column, its type and length. So when you submit this dictionary dot or dictionary dot columns query, you'll get the information about the columns available in address table only. And for this address table, it's telling these are the columns, its type and its number of length of each column. Okay, so this is the query which you are writing. Now, in case if you want to know about the information for it telling tables containing employee ID columns, so you want to know in Orion library, employee ID is a specific column which you want to know in which table it is available. Again, it's not feasible to go into your Orion library manually. And in every Orion library, it's not feasible to open this table and look out for employee ID. Correct? So it's not feasible. So at classroom training, if you want to query this 20 tables or 30 tables, go ahead and waste your 10-15 minutes into it. But it's better to write a program like this where you want to query your dictionary for column, which column, a specific column which is employee ID available, or in how many tables of Orion library this employee ID is available. So you write mem name, that is you want to know table name and the name of the column. Okay, so name means column name. Okay, and how do you come to know it's a column name? So if you remember when you have described this information of your dictionary tables, it's giving you the keywords about the dictionary words, right? So it's telling mem name means actually a table name. Correct? Name is actually the column name. Okay, so all this information is available when you write this described table. So in our slide, it's actually we are finding out in Orion library in which table do we have employee ID. Now see, you are writing name here, but you are using this upcase keyword. Why? Because different tables might use different case for same named columns like this. You can use upcase function for comparisons. However, this significantly degrades the performance of query. Why? Because though you are writing upcase, it is an extra information on your pass through or your query. So it will check extra time, or it will give an extra check on column names to be checked with upcase. That's why it's telling it's a bit going to utilize a bit. your system resource. So this is what it gives you, the query information, that this is your column name and these are the tables which has column employee ID. So employee ID, see, it's saved in all the tables, not in upcase. And that is why we are writing this way. Because you never know whether it is in upcase in every table or it is in prop case or it is in small case. Hence you try to give this as a universal way of searching it. So this is what it's giving you, employee IDs. So see, all employee ID column names are stored in uniform mixed case. So the upcase function is not needed the next time that a query such as this is executed. Got it now? So these are all the tables where you have employee IDs available. So don't you think it's going to be more easy for you to query your dictionary information rather than checking it manually for which table this column exists? Agreed, everyone?
Yes, Ashok.
Okay, great. Okay, so now before moving for this poll, I would expect you to open this demo D01 and work out with this current demonstration. Lesson 8, demo D01. Go ahead, look at every syntax, read it, understand it carefully, execute and compare the output with your syntax. Then we'll come here. Go ahead. Pardon? Okay, so if you have done with those demos, so answer this poll. What is wrong with the following code? Look at it carefully and tell what is wrong.
The dictionary is more than eight characters.
Absolutely correct. So though you are writing dictionary.tables, which you are writing in your base SAS procedure proc print, as per the concept of your library reference name, your dictionary is a reference name which is more than 8 characters long. Okay, so that's what it's trying to give us an hint, that whenever we want to query that metadata session by using base SAS steps, either proc or data step, you cannot use a concept of dictionary. Here we can use the same information with the help of the sessions metadata view concept. So that's what it's telling. So using dictionary tables in other SAS code, that is other than your Proc SQL, that is your base SAS code. So it's telling SAS provides views based on dictionary tables in a library called SAS Help Library. So all your sessions metadata is saved in the session in a library of SAS Help. So if you check this SAS Help library and if you move and down, you'll find there are so many views. See, it's starting with V. So this indicates that it is the sessions informations of libname, but it is saved in the form of view. It's same like dictionary, but for base SAS, the concept is same, but it's saved as view as we know, but view we term it as dictionary when we are querying in Proc SQL. So if you want to see the same thing by writing codes with proc print or proc mince or data step, we use this views which are saving the sessions information in SAS help library. Okay, so this is all about the libraries. These are formats available. So if you see more, V is all this which is starting with V, it means the views or it is the information about your dictionary. So it's about tables, it's about lib name, okay, or libraries. It's all about tables. Then we also have the information about various, what are the macros, okay, what are the system options available. Fine. Okay, so that's what this code is or this slide is. It's telling most of the SAS help library dictionary views names are similar to dictionary table names but are shortened to 8 characters or less. They begin with letter V, do not end in S. So earlier when we were querying the same thing by using Proc SQL, it was ending with S. See, dictionary dot columns. It was ending with S. tables. See, okay, tables, columns, members. So when it comes to base SAS coding, we are going to use this view information in SASL, but it's not ending with S, but it is starting with V. So if you are using Proc SQL, you write dictionary.tables, but if you're writing any base SAS procedures, you write sashelp.vtable. So it's equivalent. So in proc print, you write sashelp.vtable, select mem name, number of OBS in it, and var number of variables, where library is Orion. So you, from Orion library, you are creating a report for tables, and all those tables you are selecting its names, number of rows in those tables, and number of columns in those tables. Correct? So if you execute this proc print, you will get the output. So open this demo D02 for lesson 8 and check the output and check whether this output is similar with what we have queried with Proc SQL dictionary tables.
Yes, it's the same.
Is
Result.
the same, right? Others?
Session. Same.
So this was with respect to my prime proc print, and this is with my proc print, and this earlier is my proc SQL. 21 rows in your Orion library with 21 tables. These are the number of rows in each table and number of columns in each table. Okay.
Ashwini, my output is same, but it's showing the error. It's saying like the current reference to SQL view Orion dot phone list has ex- ex- exceeded proc. What's
Okay.
it's happening here?
Just show share your screen with me. Okay. So just scroll your window, please. Scroll your screen up, upwards, upwards.
It's now you can see.
Proc print, yeah. Label Anwar Orion. Scroll down, please. Scroll down. Okay, 1 second. Show me the first error. So where is this phone list coming? Okay.
I did
Now,
exercise and I made view in Orion, right? So might be it's coming from that
yeah, no, scroll your code. Let me check your code. You have selected 3 libraries there, right?
Orion SAS user SAS help.
Hmm. So it must be in SAS help or in SAS users. Okay, in SAS users, there must be this phone list table. That is why it's giving you this type of error, maybe because it's a proc tabulate. It's exiting the length of your table. So just check in SAS help or SAS user, you
No,
have
no,
phone
I
list.
made that phone list in Orion library. I'm practicing exercise. 1 minute, I will show you.
It is down, down, down. I saw something with phones.
This
Your
one, this
phone
one.
one. Okay.
It's view, right?
Mm.
It's from exercise some 5B or 6
Okay.
some.
So you have created
Yeah,
this
I
view last time.
created. Yes,
Last time you had created, right?
yes.
Okay. Okay, but there's not an issue with this of creating view. It'll show your error again. Go to log. Current reference to SQL view Orion dot phone list has exited Proc SQL's limit of 50 references to a single view in SQL statement. Please check to make sure that these references are not part of a recursive situation. Just open that view. Let me check what it is. No, it will download. Sorry. Don't open
Oh,
it, will get download. Um,
s-
write proc print on it.
here
Code. Yeah. Write proc print. Data equal to Orion dot. Give this view name.
phone list, right?
Semicolon run. Execute this. Mm. There is an issue with this table name or this view name which you have provided.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's what where okay. So this view is what code? You want to check the code. Just right click that view, view file, huh? Yeah. No, you cannot view it here as well. Right click, open, it will
Open.
download. It will download it.
Oh, it will download.
Yeah, see, download, but it is a different file format. So
Right.
it will not open it. Scroll down, what else we have? Mm-hmm.
Download, upload
Mm-hmm.
properties. That's it.
Okay, leave it.
I can do one thing, select star from phone list. Right?
Yeah, to try that. I think our there also you'll get an error because proc print it gave you an error.
Oh, yeah. It's same, right?
Do one thing. Uh, just name this view, right click this view, rename it, and give at the beginning V. Just try to give V before it. Save it and try to run this proc print with V. Phone starting with V, preceding V. It's
Still
not working.
something.
So while creating the view itself, there might be something about the name concept which you have over crossed. So let's see
Oh,
what it's telling. It's telling your current reference to view Orion.phone list has exited ProcSQL's limit for 50 references to a single view. So what was the code which you have saved as a view? You need to check that code again.
okay. Now can
Okay.
I check?
And you can do it later on.
Oh, okay.
You have it here.
Might be yes. Yes. Or it's gone. I don't know. I will check it later.
Okay, yes, no problem. Thank you.
No, yeah. Can I stop sharing now?
Yes, yes.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what it's asking here now. There is a poll for us. In your SAS environment, navigate SAS help library. Scroll down to examine your SAS help views. Okay. So just scroll in your SAS studio, your SAS help library, and check all the views. Okay. Now the question here is, in your SAS environment, navigate this view, which is SAS help. which view shows the names and data types of all the columns in every table available in SAS session. So in short, they are asking you a question that what is the name of the view if you want to query the information for columns in SAS help library.
V column. No.
Yes, it's V column. Okay, fine, because it's going to be your base SAS concept. So it's the information saved in SAS help as a view to query if the columns information you write V columns. Okay, everyone, did you find it?
Yes, Ashwini.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. So the scenario here is an analyst asked for a report showing the SAS tables, views, catalogs, and other SAS objects that are in various libraries. Now we know there are various files or categories of files one can save in library in the form of catalog files like macro files or format files, tables, views, right? So these are the different types of form of your or various forms of your files. Okay, so how you can see those? So you simply write sashelp.vmember. Okay, so when you write vmember, it will give you the members which are saved in your current library as tables, views, or catalogs. Fine. So that is what we are going to check out. So this is how you're writing. So you're using proc tabulate. See, it's a new procedure which you're getting introduced to. It's nothing, just the way how you represent the report in the form of table. Okay, hence you use proc tabulate and it gives you the count of the members. Okay, so the output which comes is the frequency count for this members. So you are querying with tables, you are telling lib name and mem type, you are telling. Okay, then you are selecting class. Class is the statement where you are classifying the observations. So you are selecting lib name and mem type. You are giving its key label n equal to missing. That means n is the number of count for every member of lib name and mem name coming. So that label n should be missing. Okay. So tables is the statement where you give the instruction for lib name and mem type. It should have maximum rows to be saved as 10. Okay. Does it has any mixed case? If yes, it should be none. Or in case if you have anything other than values, it should be coming as none. Okay. It's just the description which you're giving on this. Fine. Where lib name in, you're selecting all the members from the libraries Orion, SAS user, and SASL. So when you submit this proc tabulate, you get the tabular description about library name. That means we have selected Orion, SAS help, SAS user. Now this is taking your row dimension and its member types are taking column dimension. So why it's coming? Because you have selected in this way. Lib name, mem type in class statement, and you want them in a table structure in this form. Okay, so because you have selected in table statement, lib name comma mem type, so it's same table statement as you remember with proc frequency you have selecting the columns for frequency report with table statement. There we use tables, here we use table. Okay, so if you want cross tabulation you write comma. So this part takes your column dimension, this part takes your row dimension, correct? Right, so that is what it's telling you. Just excuse me with this. That's what it's coming. Mem type, lib name. Okay. Then here, see, none. None is where you do where you have anything which is mixed case. Now it's one of the option which you write with tables, as you have RTS option, you also has missed text action option, sorry. So this missed text option means if you have anything apart from either your blank values or anything, it should appear none. So that's what it's coming, none. Okay, so that means catalogs, there are none in Orion. Data tables, it's 19. Okay, this is actually not applicable, hence none. Views are 4 in Orion library. Same goes the description here for your other libraries. So this is all about Proc tablet, and this is where you see the tabular report of the information about how many views, how many data, how many catalogs, and these are various member types available in your library. So you get their frequency counts. Are you getting it? So here is coming blank because this key label of n means number of counts, which we have termed should be as missing. Hence, it's coming here missing. It's same like your cross-tabular report, but here it's dedicatedly we have a separate procedure called as proc-tabulate. It's a cross-tabular report form as we use with procfric. All fine? So this is how one can query this by using your other procedures also. Fine. So just in the same demo, you have this information of proc tablet. So just go ahead and of course read about what is mistext, read about what is key label. Go ahead. So if you have done with the exercise, let's move ahead. Using Proc SQL options. Okay. Now you are quite familiar with few options like number, right? You're aware with some of the options along with number. We'll get introduced to out obvious and in obvious. Okay, here. So let's see. So what are these options? So Proc SQL options give you finer control over your Proc SQL process by providing the following features like syntax checking. So tell me one of the option which we have learned for syntax checking.
No
No
executive.
executive. Okay. Feedback,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Number. No number. Like,
Number is just to see the numbers, but the first one
oh,
to check
okay.
without any execution and syntax check. Okay, then expanding your SQL statements to their fully qualified values was feedback, right? Then restricting the number of rows, we saw number options. So about restricting out obvious and all we'll see. Okay, and then providing system utilization statistics for query tuning. So the task here is you are actually writing a query from two different tables. You need to join the information. So it's telling you have been asked to produce a report of 10 most profitable customers. Now this query which you'll be writing will give you the customers list, but you want only 10 most profitable customers. So in that case, you are writing this query. See, you are writing sum of this, you are having profit, and you are writing for this year order by profit year in descending. So when you write descending, that means all highest profitable people will be aligning in descending order. You want only first 10 rows, so you restrict the output of your SQL by writing this option out obvious equal to 10. So it will restrict only the 10 rows of your SQL results in your output window, but it is going to query all the rows, but the result will be only with 10 rows. Are you getting it? So the option is out obvious equal to, and you give the number. So join all the rows, but limit output to 10 most profitable customers because of out obvious 10. So this is what you get the output. Okay. Now answer this poll. Specifying no execution option in proc SQL statement does the following. Select which is appropriate.
Yeah.
A. Prevent statement execution for the current invocation of tokens.
Even syntax also will. C.
A, B, C, D.
Is it
A
only
and C.
A and C. Correct? It checks SQL query syntax without actually executing the statement. Agreed? Of course, it prevents
Yes.
statement execution for the current invocation of Proc SQL. So you have various options, among them out obvious with restrict only the number of rows which you want to see in result. In obvious is the number of rows to be queried from input table. Okay, so it sets the limit of number of rows for each source table that contributes the query. In case if you write here in obvious, okay, is equal to suppose 50. So among each table, 50 rows will be queried. That is in obvious. It's like your proc print obvious out obvious equal to, and we write first obvious equal to, obvious equal to and first obvious equal to. Do you remember with proc print we have used this?
yes, it will select from that obvious to the
Correct.
deepest.
So here we use out obvious and in obvious. In obvious will give you the number of rows to be processed from input table. Hence it's in obvious. That means input table it will restrict only 50 rows. So in case if I open this demo, so the demo is D03, right? So when I use this out obvious option, right? Check what is the message it's coming in log. So it's a warning. So it's giving you a warning. So what warning it's telling? So it's actually trying to tell you the statement terminated early due to obvious. Why? Because it is querying all the rows, but because you have written this option, your query result is being stopped by SAS to show the rows only with 10 rows. That's why it's a warning. It's terminated early due to 10 obvious option because obvious is only 10. Now instead of out obvious, I write in obvious. Okay, now check again. Again, I get a query or a warning. So it's telling what it's telling. Only 10 rows were been queried. But among this 10 rows, because you have asked it's an inner join, among those 10 rows, there is no common rows. Hence, you cannot see any rows into output. Did you understand now why it is not showing you result and what is the warning? Only 10 records you are querying from order fact, 10 records you are querying from price list, but because it's a query where you are performing inner join in first 10 rows in both the tables, then is nothing in common, hence there is no results. Are you understanding now?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Now
yes.
in case if I increase this to suppose some value and I execute this. So again, I'll get a warning. It will give me a rows, but it will give me a warning. Why? Because it's telling it's we are terminating SAS or we are forcing SAS to read only 100 rows from each table. So its normal behavior to query whole table is terminated to query only 10 rows. Understood? So each table is been queried only for 10 rows. That's why it's a warning. It's telling only 100 records were been read, 100 records were been read from this table due to in obvious option. Understood,
Yes.
everyone? Same thing is in the second demo also. So out obvious with restricts your output result to that many rows. So we have discussed this also. So this is in obvious, no execution. So no execution checks syntax for all SQL statements without executing them. Of course, print, no print, number, no number. Okay, now print means it will query, but it will not give you the result into result window because you have stopped its result to be directed to your output or result window because of no print. Fine. So what is no S timer or S timer, it's nothing but it's actually the statistics which is getting executed for each query. Now, if you have observed this query in log, this is the system resource statistics which is coming by default. So if you do not want this in by default, you can write no S timer. If you want in more detail, now that looks best when you are using with SAS 9.4 and EG version of softwares. In SAS Studio, it is well developed that it is giving you all the detailed statistics. So even if I try to restrict this by telling no as timer, okay? So S timer means it is a system resource statistics utilization in detail about what are the various resources its utilization in detail. Now, but it is still providing you the details. So it's real time CPU time, system CPU time, how much it's taking memory space, how much is taking OS space. So this is in detail, it comes in Studio. So even if you try to suppress it, it will still come because in Studio it is developed accordingly that it gives you the system resources in detail. But in case if you do not want the system resources details also, you will be using this in your desktop installations. Now, why it is not working in Studio? Because it's a cloud application. You cannot control some of the features because it's a cloud application. And cloud application, it uses the resources all which is cloud based only for that particular SaaS server. But when you are using the same software which has been installed on your system, it of course uses your system resources. Correct? That is why you can control that information by using no S timer, and it is fairly working good with your 9.4 desktop installation of SAS software and of course on EG software, not on cloud applications. All fine, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So this option listing is not a default destination which comes into your result window. Okay, so listing is like it lists. So this option applies to SAS listing destination. As I said you, it works best with 9.4 and of course with EG. Double spacing also, no double spacing timer. This works only best with 9.4 and EG output. Same goes with flow and no flow. That also works best with 9.4 version of your softwares. So we saw this example of InOBS. What it does, it applies to each input table. Use reset statement with InOBS equal to max to read all observations in the table without re-invoking the procedure. In case if you are writing in same Proc SQL, the next select clause, see to it that you reset this option by using InOBS equal to max. Okay. So this is with 10 rows, which has been, so what is reset statement you are aware with? We have already seen this earlier. So answer this quiz. So it's telling open this activity. You are querying addresses and donations table. Okay, to calculate each employee's total contribution for the year 2011. Output rows are numbered and are limited to 10 OBS. It's telling without re-invoking Proc SQL and a statement before your second query, what does or that does the following: displays output rows without row number and ensures that only 9 rows are output. Go ahead, do this activity and work accordingly. Done. So it's a very simple thing. What is the code which you people have written? First is display the output without numbers. Then the second query without re-invoking, you want it, the number should be only with 9 rows. Yes, how you do it, people?
We can give reset state.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is what you write. Reset no number out obvious equal to 9. So this statement displays output rows without row numbers and ensures that only 9 rows are output without re-invoking Proc SQL. I hope you people have worked out. It's a very simple thing.
Yes, Ashwini.
Yes. So same thing here. See, it's the same thing. Next select clause, I simply write reset. You want no number, correct? And you want the out obvious should be restricted to 9, correct? Without re-invoking Proc SQL. That's it. So here you have 9 rows, here you have 10 rows. No numbers, here you have numbers of the rows. Monica, Shanmuga, did you get the same?
Yes,
Yes,
Ashwini.
yes, Ashwini.
Great. Okay. That's it. And the next topic is all about interfaces of Proc SQL with macro language. Now we have done this in detail in macros, so it would be a revision for us. So it's telling that a manager asked you to include some report data in a title of your report. That means it's telling it's an average salaries in your title, which should be seen. So how you get this? So you include this type of information in a report title requires an understanding of SAS macro variables and their use in Proc SQL. So how do you create macros through Proc SQL? What is the syntax?
Percentage.
No, this is Proc SQL.
Into clause.
Into clause,
Yes, yes, yeah. Yes.
correct?
Yes, yes.
Into clause. So this telling you from a table you write a query to create a macro variable and use it in a Proc SQL. So macros are always referenced with ampersand sign. So you can write special macro programs also with percent. It's a macro program, correct? So you know we have two types of macro variables, automatic, user defined. Automatic are system based, user defined is one which we create, which is user defined. So the all are saved in global symbol table, correct? So one can create macros by percent let statement, calls input X routine, and of course with into clause in Proc SQL query. And you refer a macro as ampersand macro name. Fine. So Monica, this is just a revision for this people. You just listen to it. We'll be taking this in detail when we have macro class. All right.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes. So percent let statement. See, you're creating this macro with this value, big salary, lib name. So you refer this or percent let is a macro statement. Correct. So in SAS macro statement, most keywords are preceded with the percent sign. You know it is saving with this into global symbol table. It's creating a macro variable and its names or those are the values which are saved in global symbol table. So how you refer? You refer it as ampersand and a macro name, ampersand and a macro name. So while referencing it or when this program is executed and SAS is going to resolve it, it resolves through global symbol table, looking for this macro, what is its value? So it will resolve the name as employee payroll instead of ampersand DN. So it will resolve this name here and salary is greater than, it will resolve this value by looking up this values in your global symbol table. So you refer your macro variable with ampersand sign. See, okay. It's a revision, so I'm not going to take it in more details. Okay, referencing a macro variable, of course, whenever you are going to refer it as a text in your title, it should be referred with double quotes. right? Then only it will resolve. Single quotes will not resolve it. So that's what it's telling you. It's not resolving. Correct? Single quotation will not resolve at all. Why? Because during your macro processor, it treats this as a part of your text. But in case if you want to tell SAS that it's a macro variable and it has to get resolved, so in your titles, when you provide the title in quotes, this has to be referred in double quotes. Then only it will resolve. Okay. So in our scenario, you have to create a macro variables and then a report using the defined macro variables. You need to validate its value in your code. So this is what you can also check the values by validating by using person put macro variable name you want to check. It's you can write with person put statement. Okay. So yes, we have certain macro variable options, system options like symbol gen, which also tells you in log everywhere there is a macro variable in your program. It gives you the resolution of the macro variable, how it is resolving during execution of your macro. Okay. So validating, same thing, you can use person put statement to validate. So in title, you write ampersand big salaries and you subset your report with your Proc SQL to be subsetted with your macro. So either you create with percent let statement, you provide this value and you use it in your code, right? So this is where you are validating with percent put and also with symbol gen. This is how it is. So within two clause in your select statement, you create a macro variable with your proc SQL. Correct? So how it is? So as per the scenario, it's telling you want this in your report as a title. So create a report listing all employees in the sales department with salaries above the department average. Include the average salaries in your title report also. So first thing is you need to calculate its average salaries, use it in title, and then select all those employees who are earning greater than average salaries of the organization. So this is the task. Hence, first thing is how one can create a macro variable through Proc SQL. So there are three methods. So first syntax is when you are selecting the column which is being queried, only the first row of that column is taken as a part of a macro variable. So one can query n number of columns, and if you write this syntax of into clause with colon and a macro variable name 1, 2, and accordingly for every column, first row is taken as a macro variable. So that's what it's telling. So data from additional rows returned by query is ignored to create a macro variable. So the value from the first column in the select clause is placed in the first macro variable list into your into clause and so on. So see what you write, average salary into clause with 2 colon only it will create this macro variable, and the value of this query column is saved as a value of this macro variable which you are using it to be subsetting. So here you are writing with department sales and here you are subsetting with department sales. So this is a macro with first syntax where only first row is taken as a macro variable of your column which you are querying. Now second step, you are using it in your program, say in title, and you're subsetting it. So you get this result which is expected. Correct? So this was your first syntax where first row value is saved as a macro value while querying your query. Now the quiz here is how many changes must be made to the macro to generate a report showing how many engineering department employees earn above average salaries. So how many changes you will do here?
Percent let statement will change the department to engineering. That should be.
Absolutely. Hence, you'll do only one change, which is in percent let statement where department is engineering. So you can do this demonstration as well later on. Now see, first syntax is continuing. You are creating average salaries, minimum salaries, max salaries, and you are for every column which is queried, its row is been saved as a macro variable. Mean salary, maximum, minimum. So you when you check with person put, it's showing you this values. All right. Are you all with me? I hope you are understanding.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is just a revision and that's it. So it was just a revision for syntax 1. Now syntax 2 and 3 you are aware, which we have done with your macros in detail, correct? So we were creating macros with first 3 rows also, and we were creating macros with all the rows also, right? So that syntaxes you people are aware it. So just it's a demo. You can just go through it and revise the topic. So with this, we have successfully completed our SQL. Any doubts, any queries will always be appreciated if you ask me personally also. Okay. So we'll stop for a day. So for your clinical batch, I'll keep you posted once the clinical sessions of the first batch ends. We'll keep you updated for the clinical sessions. All right.
Yes, Ashwini.
Whereas for third batch people, I'll keep you posted. By next week, we'll start our third batch. All right, everyone. So we'll
Yes.
stop our day.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
enjoy
Ashwini.
yes. So please revise the topics. Take care. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.